Hey there, welcome back. How you doing? I've already started without you today, trying to make the little things at the beginning a little shorter. So we've got our paper turned horizontally. We got us a horizon line through there, an eye level line, the same thing, right? And we're going out of the box today in that we're drawing a landscape or a simple landscape. This line being called a horizon line will make a lot more sense today. We know it's the eye level line because what's above it, we can see the bottom. What's below it, we can see the top of. That's our eye level, and this is called the, yes, that's right, the vanishing point. And all perspective lines disappear there or vanish. All right, so let's start out a little bit crazy today, right? I always start on this right side. I'm just going to start over here today. Purposely going to make myself go over here on the left, and I'm going to draw a box. Oh, I said we're going out of the box, didn't I? Well, we are. We're going to draw let's draw a tall box. And I really want to make this short because let's do it. Let's go ahead and make it fairly. We'll chop the bottom of this box off. That's a little bit not parallel. I want to go for the top of it. Boom. So we have a rectangle now. Now, if you're like me, sometimes those sounds drive me crazy, and sometimes my kids too. They'll say, "Oh, can't you hear that?" And I'm older, so I have a hard time hearing some things. So this time, we're drawing a landscape. A landscape is an image involving land, right? Painting, drawing. So this one is on the eye level line, horizon line, and it's to the left of where we're looking directly. So we're still going to see the side of that. We're going to go like this. Going to go line up the vanishing point and the bottom of that. We're going to line up the top and the vanishing point. Now, the good thing about that see-through ruler is that we can see through it. Yeah. So I'm not going to let this go on forever, and I kind of didn't erase part of that line for that reason. I'm going to line that up there and just scoot that baby over and keep that line horizontal. Now we can erase that line and that line. I want to go back real quick. The last video, we drew this. Since that time, right after I finished the video, I kind of darkened some of this and erased some of the spots and stuff where it was really kind of messy. You know, it's super important as an artist and as you're practicing and doing these practice that you clean up your work and make it look good. Always sign and date your work too. I've forgot to talk about that. Please make sure you sign and date your work. And I'm not going to date this one just because, I'll date it. Today is 8/24, I think. 20. But you need that timestamp on there, people. Now we've got a box over here, and it looks like it's going to the vanishing point, and this box is going to be a house. What are you talking about, dude? Okay, so I'm not going to worry about drawing the fancy stuff on this house. I'm going to make a basic shell for a house, okay? So if this is the part facing us, we're standing here, this is the part going to 1 point perspective, and so it looks like it's slanted. I'm going to show you this next idea, technique, so you'll get used to it, because if you ever go up to 2 point perspective, it's vitally important for 2 point. So I always say crisscross applesauce. We're going to make an X there, corner to corner. So crisscross, right? Applesauce. Why did we do this X? Because we need to know where the center is. That's where the center of that side is. And we're going to bring us a line up. And so this is going to be the gable end of the house. It's going to go from that part is going to be the pointed part of the house. And now this side is not perspected at all. Only this side. So in that being said, this side we just keep everything nice and straight, or nice and I don't know what the correct term is. We keep everything on that side like you're looking straight on, because that's how it is. Now, kind of fix that right there. Okay, so we can erase our X. Remember, crisscross applesauce. I'm going to draw a house over here in a second where we're doing the X on that side. So now we have the gable end and the end facing us. How in the world do we get that roof? Well, just like we did on the triangle before. You're going to go from here to the vanishing point. That's going to give you that correct angle, look, and slope of that roof. Okay, so we're going vanishing point and peak. There we go. Now, that roof cannot go on forever, and if I told you to cut it off, some of you might go straight up like that. Well, that's not right, and it doesn't look right. You're going to match this, and that's the key here. Parallel lines, perspective lines, the edges of your paper. Okay, so let's see, that's a little bit. Okay, now you guys know, because you're pretty swift, that in reality, this roof is going to overhang and all that stuff. And I know some of you guys and gals, I'm going to go back because that looks a little not parallel. Some of you all will know how to figure that out. And there's all kinds of videos out there for you to figure that out. And maybe even later on I'll do one as well. So this is our basic shell of this house. Let's put us a house here. Okay, this one, because of the size and the placement back here on this horizon line or near it, it's farther away than what might be something right here on the bottom of the page. There's 6 ways artists create the illusion of space, and one of those ways is linear perspective, what we're doing. Another one of those ways is page placement. So what's lower on the page is closer to you, seems closer to you than what's higher on the page. Makes sense, right? So this time we're going to make a house here. Now this house, because it's closer, it's lower, it's going to be a little bit larger than the house up there. And you're going to think, oh my goodness, that house up there is gigantic. It's going to look gigantic. I like doing this before I add windows, and I'll show you why in just a minute. So this is going to be the bottom part of my house. You know, typically houses are rectangular in some form or fashion, length, width. So that's going to be the bottom. And we're going to go to the vanishing point. Oh boy. Oh, you're going to freak out here in a second. Maybe I'm freaking out. So we're going, boo. Okay. Now here, Okay, now, do I go ahead and draw from there to there? Well, if I do, that's going to be sort of like a box instead of a house. I need to put a gable end on it, right? But I told you earlier that I was going to do the gable end on this perspective side. So let's go ahead and forget about that part for right now. Let's just scoot this over a little bit. Don't want to go too far back through there. I'm going to cut this side off before I do this gable end. Now you're thinking, oh, you didn't do that. It's confusing me. Don't be confused. Just watch for a second. Back it back up in a minute and look at it again. So how did we find the middle of this side? We did an X, crisscross applesauce, right? So we're going to do the same thing here. When we do an X here, because of this linear perspective, and because of the X rule, I guess we could say X rule, made that one up. Well, in proportion or in space, in depth, this would be the actual center, even though visually you're thinking, oh no, it's not. See, that's a lot smaller over there, but visually, perspective-wise, that's the center. That gives us a placement. So straight up from that X, or the center of the X, will be where we put the gable end on that side. So let's go ahead and do this. Now this side is to perspective, right? But still the roof is going to be connected here and here. It's not going to go back there. Even though you did that side to there, This side is only concerned with right here. We got that side in perspective. So we're going to take and go from here. Now, one of these days, venture into 2-point perspective. 2-point perspective it makes it much more realistic. And I love 2-point perspective. So there's our gable end perspective. And it's actually what it would look like. Walk up and down your street sometime. Of course, if you're old enough, or when your mom and dad, you're out with them, or whoever you're with. So now let's fix this side. This side is not in perspective, but we do want the same angle on that roof. Let's go ahead and do us a horizontal line across there. May be able to cheat here. See what I'm doing? I'm using my ruler, just lining it up across there, and then I'm going to go whoop. Now, a lot of my students, maybe, I don't think high schoolers would do that, they'd come up here and draw a line, and that'd be their roof. That's not how it is. Here's why. See that? It's on a slant. And so if it's slanted here, it's going to be slanted over here. And you want the same slant, okay? Now, like I said earlier, we're not going to make this fancy with bringing the gable in more three-dimensional. Okay, now I think, all right. Want to know how long my video is going. Okay, so I'm going to have to speed things up. Now, let's look at this real quick. House, what's in between these two houses? It could be a big grassy field, right? But let's go for the sake of getting this video done. Let's say there's a road or a walkway or something. Let's go for a road. We'll come back to that, but let's put a door on this house. Let's say the door is here. Maybe this is a shed or something. So we're going to make this. Actually, let's do the door over here first, okay? Be more simple and easier to figure out. This is a door, and we're going to put it right on this side. Nothing on this side is in perspective. So we're going to think about the door that's on your house or on a house. This can be any house. If you think about a door, usually it's not up to the whole height of the wall. There's a little bit of space in between there, right? So I'll do one side of my door first, and then think about the width of the door compared to the height. If it's a single door, the width is probably about 1/2 of the height, So I'm just going to guess, if that door is that tall, then it's half of that wide. These aren't any particular kind of buildings, okay? Just buildings. Now that door looks a little bit skinny to me, right? That's a skinny door. Let's make her a little fatter. Maybe this is a shed building too. I don't know, a she shed or something, or a he shed. I'm going to bring that door top on up there. All right, we're not worried about door trim and doorknobs and all that stuff right now, but there's our door. It looks okay on that side of the building. If you want to put it in the center, that's fine. If you want to make it a bigger door, that's fine. But the whole reason I drew that door first and put it there is because we're going to put a window on this side. Now think about and look at your own house. Look at your neighbor's house. Windows and doors. I'll draw one right here, for example. Maybe this is some kind of little shop. I'm going to go straight across. Boom. We know our window. Look at your neighbor's house, your own house. Usually your windows are not higher than your doors unless there's a second level. And obviously most of them don't come down to the floor. So we're going to just make that a nice large window by going across there. And then I'm going to just try to do some equal space here. All right, so there's our simple window, okay? And the window is not above the door. Now, if you could have a little window up there, maybe there's a small attic up there, that's fine. But here's the whole reason I drew this one first. The door, if there's a window on this side, chances are it's not going to be above the door either. So what I do is I bring this line over. I already had that there. Straight over, and then I go from there to the vanishing point with a very light line. That's going to give us a top of the window there. Notice it's slanted because I went from there to the vanishing point. And because this window's on the side that's in perspective, it needs to be like that. Now this window, if I want this window over here roughly the same, most of the windows in your house or your neighbor's house is wherever, some of them are the same size. So I'm going from this line or corner to that vanishing point. That gives us the bottom of the window. I'm going to go through here real quickly. I'm going to go, maybe there's a window here. Oh, let's bring it. Now that's a long window. That's a giant window compared to the rest of the house. But what if I do this? What if I, notice I'm keeping these straight up and down? And maybe there I can make, you know, as things go off into the distance, they get smaller and they get closer together. Notice how they get smaller and these lines are closer than those lines? Something to think about. Let's come up here on this one real quick. So if we have a door here, that's what I said. Let's compare it to this front side first. Let's say that it's no taller than that, right? We're going to make a shed door or a big door. We're going to go from there to the vanishing point. Boom. And I'm not drawing it all the way through there. I could. It's just extra erasing. And I'm going to, this side, even though it's in perspective, any lines like doors or windows or whatever, they have to be vertical. They have to be straight up and down, parallel, or it makes your drawing look nasty. Okay. Now, there would be a door, right? Now, I could have a window on this side and all that. Some of you are going to be able to figure this out pretty easily. If I want siding, let's say I want siding, then you could technically measure, and I happen to be using a metric system ruler here. Measure every centimeter, I guess, mark it off, and then go zoom, 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 and get those siding. But I'm not going to. I'm going to try to hurry here. All right, let's do a road between here. If this is a moderately normal size building of some sort, we know the road. Think about your house, your road, your door, your window. The road would probably be about as wide as a window and door together, so we could compare that space. You know, I would just take a measure there. Now, maybe I want a road from here. Maybe, whoa, that road's going to be too wide, but artistic purposes, I'm going to do it here. Maybe it goes right beside there. So there's where my road, notice I come straight across there. I was comparing it to that building. Maybe it's a little closer over here. I'll make our road a little bigger. Now I'm going to take a vanishing point, a line from the ruler. We're using the ruler from the vanishing point from there to there. Ooh, bring it off the page. Do the same thing right here to this side. Now that one is a little close. Well, like I said, maybe that's a garage. So if you look at this, looks like this road is getting really wide as it comes at us. And that's truthfully how it will look if you go. Now, for the sake of time, let's go back here and let's just add some little, maybe this is down in the valley. We're adding little, okay, mountains in the background. The reason I wanted to show you that is because mountains usually are above this horizon line. So yeah, this is the horizon if the sun is setting or whatever, wherever the earth and sky meet. But this horizon line, buildings, mountains, electric poles. Let's do one fence pole. All right, let's say I'm doing a fence pole and I'm doing it here. All right, compare it to this house. If normal size fence post, maybe just for a yard or something, about halfway. All right, that's a good size post. Now let's compare this. Let's get this correct back there. You're going to go from the top of this to the vanishing point. Notice I drew through there. And you're going to go from the bottom of this to this vanishing point. Now you go through there and you put your fence posts. Some people go in there and they'll do like this. Well, those fence posts are laying down. Look at that. They're not supposed to lay down. Stand them up, straight up and down. And as you go farther back, they get closer together, and you're staying inside those two lines that you drew. Well, maybe one more right there. They get closer together, and because of that, now I'll erase that one. Now we can go through there, maybe drape a little line on it. But there's a very simple landscape, and I know this video has taken quite a bit of time. Thank you for watching. I hope you practice this, rewind it, rewatch it. There's all kinds of videos out there, and there's one more coming right after this. You have a good day, and thank you for watching, my friend.